about 5 sentences to sort of introduce yourself.
Oh, 5 sentences, that would be hard. If I was to just define myself in one sentence, as somebody who's still very confused and trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life.
I think that resonates with a lot of us. So.
Yeah, that's how I would define myself.
Okay, so I'm going to start with something that very relevant to the time that we're in. So how's the pandemic treated you so far? What's it been like for you?
It's been great so far. I've got a lot of time to spend time at home, spend time with my mother, spend time with family. I think usually in usual times you don't get that opportunity to reconnect with family. So I think this was a great time for me to reconnect with my family. Great time to also get a chance to read a lot of books, a lot of things that I haven't caught up on. Also, get lost with my own thoughts, kind of become more self-aware, discover myself as well. So I think the pandemic has probably been like the greatest gift in the last few years for me, for sure. It helped me reset my life.
What about how it's changed your work so far? How's that?
In terms of work, it's been great. I'm more of a people person, so this kind of doesn't work in terms of work because I want to be around people and I want to be around people where the ideas are forming and all of that. But here through Zoom, it's kind of a little different. So I'm not a big fan of work from home, but I guess that's what the reality is, and it's going to be for the next 6 months or so, I assume. But given a choice, I wouldn't prefer working from home at all.
Who has been your greatest inspiration?
So I don't have somebody, one person whom I can say is my particular inspiration as such. But the one person I really look up to is my mom, because she got married at a very young age and she gave up a lot of her dreams, to raise us and all of that. But now she's doing what she wants to do. She's traveling the world solo. She's going on all of these biking trips. She's following her dreams. And looking at her, it makes me feel like, I should follow my dreams as well. And life is short, and you should do what you love and what you believe in.
So, in your book, right, how you braved Anuanti and started a $1 million company, you talk about like the difficulty that you went through in your relationship with your parents, in terms of your career choices. How has that sort of changed over the years? I mean, I see that you obviously have a very good relationship with your mother right now. How is that sort of changed?
Oh, so the issue there was because back then the number of career options was so limited that usually parents would think that if you're trying to do something offbeat, maybe you've lost your path, or maybe you're confused, or maybe you need help, or maybe you don't know what you want to do with your life. It's so ironic. What was considered a taboo back then is a norm now, right? Now everyone wants to try like 100 different careers before they settle down on what they truly want to do. So it's very ironic how far India has come in the last 10 years, where even doing a startup 10 years ago was considered a taboo, and now parents are pushing more students and more children into startups. And now there are so many different careers like content creator, YouTuber, author, filmmaker, blogger. It's just the sheer number of career options that are now available is massive. And I think now parents are more open to their children kind of doing offbeat careers or pursuing what they really want to do, rather than just getting stuck with the standard, industry, engineering or doctor. So I'm really happy that the country has come a really long way, and my parents have as well, because now I think in the last 10 years they've realized that you don't have to be restricted to just one thing to be successful in life.
And also in the time that you've been working, the media industry itself has changed a lot, right? How has that sort of affected your work and your life?
It's great. I think when I started off, there were these gatekeepers for the media industry, but now anybody and anyone can become anyone or anyone. Back then, the internet was not that big, but now with the internet, you can become successful overnight. Like all it takes is one piece of content or one piece of writing that a large number of people may end up liking, and you're pretty much sorted for life. So I feel that in this day and age, people have access to a lot more than what we had, and basically now you don't have to do that whole struggle or wait for other people to let you in. You can carve your own path, and I think that's fantastic.
How scary was it for being an entrepreneur?
See, entrepreneurship is scary. entrepreneurship is tough. Entrepreneurship is dangerous. Um uh, Everybody seems to see the glamorous side of it. Nobody talks really about the dark side of it. Entrepreneurship, basically, I tell a lot of people this: if you are an overthinker, if you can't handle uncertainty, if you can't handle rejection, then don't be an entrepreneur. Right? Entrepreneurship is about how mentally strong you are above everything else, right? And if you're not mentally strong, then you won't be able to handle entrepreneurship. So I think I pretty much had all of these things in control from the beginning, and also you need to have a very thick skin, because when you become an entrepreneur, you basically make your life super public, and you basically let anyone and everyone criticize you, and your or every action that you take will be criticized. And unless and until you have a thick skin and you can handle all of the feedback and all the criticism, then entrepreneurship is not great, right? But if you can take care of all of this, everything else can be learned. Like, all the other skills can be learned, but these skills cannot be taught. You either build these skills or you're born with it, or you're not, right? I feel entrepreneurship has got to do more with mental toughness more than anything else. If you can rally yourself and stand there for 10 years while dealing all of this, then entrepreneurship is actually a great ride.
Okay. Can you share a few tips for who want to be an entrepreneur?
Few tips for people who want to be an entrepreneur. Three things. One, don't do it for the money, because 99% of all startups fail. So if you think you're going to be a millionaire overnight, well, there's a 99% chance that you will not, right? So you're actually fighting a lot against the odds. Don't do it because you hate going for a 9-to-5 job, because in entrepreneurship you'll be working 24/7, 7 days a week, right? So that's worse, right? At least 9 to 5 you get time for the remaining time for yourself. In entrepreneurship you don't get time at all. Third, don't do it because you want to be your own boss, because when you become an entrepreneur, you become a slave to your customers, you become a slave to your investors, you become a slave to your employees. So if you're assuming that you're going to make a lot of money, if you're assuming that you're going to be your own boss, if you're assuming that you're going to not be stuck in a 9-to-5 job, well, don't be an entrepreneur, because this is not what entrepreneurship solves. But then why become an entrepreneur? Become an entrepreneur because you love solving problems. Become an entrepreneur because you're creative and you love building stuff. Become an entrepreneur because you love inventing stuff. And above all, become an entrepreneur because you want to make a difference and you want to see a change. And these three things, if one of your reasons, then maybe become an entrepreneur. Most importantly, if you don't have a problem-solving mindset, then don't become an entrepreneur at all.
So in the beginning, you spoke about how it was obviously not very popular at the time to not do mainstream courses like engineering and medicine and stuff. Obviously, there are a lot of options today, a lot that we don't even know about. But how did you sort of decide that? I mean, you said that you're not entirely sure who you are or what you want to do right now, but how did you sort of decide on what it is that you're doing today?
I would like to make it very, very clear that my personality type is like a little different from most people. And which is why I don't try to do what I did if your personality type does not match. So I belong to something which is known as a scanner. A scanner personality type is somebody who cannot just stick with one thing. They have to try multiple things. They want to do multiple things, and they only find happiness, if they try multiple things. So for me, it was about entrepreneurship, writing a book, creating YouTube videos, making films, giving talks, and maybe probably 10 other things in the future as well. But for me, it's always been about how can I take a particular thing that interests me, get really obsessed about it, and try to do the best in that, and then try to find something else that really catches my interest. So that's pretty much how I have lived my life, and I don't think I can live my life in any other different way. Because for me, life has to offer so many different things. I want like a bit of it all. So like they say, right, I may be the jack of all trades, but master of none, but I prefer that rather than just try to do just one thing all my entire life. And I think a lot of millennials kind of are in that sort of a mindset now, because a lot of them want to try a lot of different things, which is fine. But unless and until you really have this sort of a personality, don't try to do that. Try to find one niche, one passion, and see if that's something that you can really develop your proficiency in, and just go after that.